Welcome back to this local newsletter breakdown. This is the third video in the series. If you want to catch this series from the beginning, just click the card button up above. But we're taking a look at the Cookeville Buzz. And this is a local newsletter. It goes out once a week. As you can see here, they are posting regularly and they are sharing upcoming events, kids' activities, business highlights, giveaways, all that kind of stuff with the local area. They're getting subscribers and they're growing a local business because they can get paid for advertisers, sponsors, and networking from this local newsletter. I'm a massive fan about how this is laid out, especially if you are a beginner, because all you really need is something like this. We've got a short intro. We have got some events, then we've got some music, and then they sign off. And it doesn't need to initially be any more complicated than that. We've done other series here on the channel breaking down very well established local newsletters, but honestly, to start off with, this is all you need to do. And I've been showing you our tool, which is this one here, Flux Local, and this actually writes all the newsletter content for you. I'll leave a link down in the description if you want to check it out. But in this video, what I want to talk about is their social media, because you need social media. You need to run meta ads, so that's ads on Instagram and Facebook to get your subscribers. You get subscribers for 20 cents, 50 cents a subscriber. It's not expensive to get started, but you need social media. And what you need to do over time is build up that social media so that you can eventually turn off the ads and rely on the organic traffic. And you can see there's a bit of a disconnect here because they're putting out tons and tons and tons of local newsletters. But when we check their social media, there's not a lot going on. And the same with their Facebook page. And this got me thinking that, yes, maybe they're on TikTok. I don't know. I haven't checked everywhere. But starting the social media is a big issue for people. It takes quite a bit of time. You've got to make the content. You've got to schedule the content. And there's a lot of people out there that are unsure about exactly what they want to create. So I want to do two things in this video. I want to show you exactly how you can use AI to create the content so that your Instagram doesn't look like this. It's full of content and you're not spending hours, you're spending minutes instead because AI is doing all the heavy lifting. And what we're going to do is we're going to make some content specifically for this newsletter. So we're going to go in, we're going to take whatever they put in the latest edition, and we're going to use some of this and we're going to turn it into content that we could use on their Instagram page, on their Facebook page in order to get them scheduled. I want to show you how simple this is. Now, before we do that, I want to talk to you about using AI in order to create this content, because what I'm going to show you in this video is not what I would do, okay? You're probably around about level 1, level 2 on this competency framework that I put together. Now, this isn't something I found out there. It's literally just my brain emptied onto a page. But I'm down here at the moment on level 4. Okay, where I'm building custom tools and software. That's exactly what Flux Local is. I was getting frustrated with having to create newsletters and find all the information to put in them. So we created a tool that solves that problem. And now we sell that problem, sell the solution to the problem to anybody that wants to use it. So you can come along, you can start for free, and then you can pay, and you can pay just $39 a month to save hours of your time in order to create yourself a local newsletter, and you can even get started for free. So I'm down here at level 4, but you're probably up here at level 1 and level 2. So if I show you the solution that I use at level 4, it's not actually going to be helpful for you at all. You need the level 1, level 2 solution. So what I want to do first is I just want to run you through this competency so that you can look out for these signs and you can start to figure out when you're moving from one level to the next so that you yourself can get more out of AI. Okay, so we're going to help you identify where you are and where you're going, and then I'll show you some of my sort of level 1, level 2 tricks that will help you create content for your local newsletter very quickly. So if you're at level 1, this is probably when you're first using AI. you're going to go into something like ChatGPT or Gemini, and you're essentially using it like an advanced search engine. You ask one-off questions, you use very simple prompts, you give little to no background, and you will get answers that aren't quite right, and then you just chat with it until you get what you want. So an example of this would be you're planning a holiday. Maybe you're going somewhere, you're not sure which is the best part of the city to stay in, how to get between places, can I park, all this kind of thing. AI can act as a very advanced version of search and answer all that for you. Now, you'll be using this in your local newsletter business for writing social media posts, rewording emails or your newsletter, getting ideas and inspiration of what to put into your newsletter, summarizing information. So you might take your entire newsletter here and summarize it into a social media post. But what's going to happen is as you start to use it, you're going to realize your prompts are getting better. You're going to maybe go out and find some prompts that are out there that you could use. If you want prompts, we have some in our community. Just put the word community down in the comments and I can send you the link. But you're going to figure out that the better your input, the better your output. And then you'll start to get frustrated and you'll start to notice that things are generic and the AI is always doing the same thing that irritates you all the time, like using M dashes or throwing in emojis in the wrong places or stuff like that. The quality's inconsistent. It doesn't sound like you or your writing. And even though it saved you a bit of time, you are having to go over the same things again and again with it, re-explaining things, and you get to a level of frustration. And then what happens is you move into level 2. And level 2 is where you start to figure out that you're putting in the same information repeatedly and you look for a better way of doing things. And that's when you get to the point of using things like custom GPTs or what Google Gemini calls gems, or knowledge bases, or saving instructions. And what you do is you then go away and you create documents with information in them, like brand details, company information, your newsletter information, information about your audience values, your what, why, when, how of your local newsletter or your local business. And you put all of that into documents and then you start putting them into these custom GPTs or gems. You put that with your better prompts and everything starts to work better. I should probably mention this, we do all of this for clients as well. So if you're a business owner or you're struggling to do this in your role and you want some help, just use the email address in the description and email me and we can give you some help with this. So that's what starts to happen at level 2. And you notice your game actually jumps up massively because what starts to happen is the writing comes out in your brand voice and tone. It always sticks to the same writing guidelines, like your newsletter's always 600 words long, roughly, or something like that. It can avoid certain words. Okay, for me, a massive one is some of the work I do, I need the tools to write in British English, and some of them I need them to write in American English. And so being able to not have to type that every time saves me a huge amount of time. You start to put in guardrails and rules. There's less repetition. Things are faster, you're more efficient, your volume gets higher. And when you get to that point, you really start to notice the gains when it comes to putting out social media content. And this isn't just for writing, this is for creating images, and this is for creating video content as well. What you then start to notice, and this is not what we're going to talk about in this video, but like I said, I want to give you an overview anyway, because I think it will massively help you, is you end up in something that I call cut and paste hell. And this is where you have lots and lots of these gems or custom GPTs or whatever tools you're using. I don't personally use those. We use different tools. But they're the ones that are free and out there for you to use and experiment with. So I would start with those, and that's why I'm mentioning them. But what ends up is you have all of this content being created in ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or in Google Gemini or wherever you're creating it. And you end up just copying it from one place to another. So you're creating your Facebook posts and then you have to put them on Facebook, or it will create the email for you and you have to put it over into Outlook and do a little bit of formatting, and then it's going to generate images for you on one tool, but you got to download them and then you got to put them onto Instagram or wherever, or it will create a blog content or your newsletter for you, and then you got to cut and paste it across. And at that point is when you start to get into automation. So for example, when you use Flux Local, this will create the newsletter for you in this tool. you still got to cut and paste it across. Now, we do have automated ways of doing that for the larger organizations, but I'm not going to go into that because like I said, you're probably at level 1 or 2 and I don't want to overwhelm you, but I do want you to know that that is there as an option. So this is what starts to happen. You've saved yourself hours and hours at going through level 1 and 2, but you're now at the point where you're just like, my job just feels like all I do is cut and paste. There has to be a solution, and there is. And that solution is automation tools. So these can be very similar, simple automation tools like Zapier. Zaps are really easy to build, and it will just do things like if you get a new person subscribe up on a landing page, it will automatically put them onto your newsletter list, for example. And you also have other tools like NAN or Make, and what all of these do is they build an automation. So you can make your image and then it will automatically be put onto social media, or it can write the email for you and automatically put it into your email provider or into your newsletter software, or whatever you're doing. So all you do is you could say to it, create me 10 images and put them onto this software that I use for social media and schedule them. And then all you would have to do on a Monday morning is go in and just check everything and make sure you're happy with it, tweak it, and then leave it alone. And you haven't done any cut or pasting because these tools have put it into your social media tool for you. And you can do this for your emails and your newsletter and everything. So at this point then, this takes quite a lot of time to set up and quite a lot of skill to set up. And again, if this is something you want just for your business in general or for your local newsletter, let us know. Use the email in the description. We can help you. But this then turns something that was taking you from day 1 to 10 hours into minutes. It's done for you, and you're now just editing and checking rather than creating. So you're not doing any repetitive movements anymore. You are oversight. You are no longer cut and paste hell, which is awesome. Then you get to the next stage, where you start building custom tools and software. You start to play with tools out there that will do that for you. This is the very, very top level. And you really have to go through educating yourself with how to prompt properly before you do this. Otherwise, you're just going to fall flat in your face. Because again, there's guardrails, there's rules that you need to follow. And you need to understand the process of how the AI is going to think before you can do this. But you can use AI to build custom tools and software that will solve a problem for you. So that's exactly what we did with Flux Local. And I'll just come back to this because it's the best example of this that fits in with what you're trying to do, which is build your local newsletter or save time automating your local newsletter. So this tool automatically scrapes events off of Instagram, Facebook, websites, YouTube, and not just the ones we put in there, but the ones that you add yourself. So if you've got a couple of great websites in your community that put out events and information, you can add these in as well, and it will do it for you. But you set it up, and then it writes the entire newsletter. And that's what happens when you get to level 4. You start to build these for yourself. You build them for your own local newsletter. You build them for your own business. And again, if you need any help with this, doesn't matter what business niche you are, whether you're a local newsletter or you're something completely different, the email's there if you need some help. But what happens then is that you start to build your own custom content generators, your own tools that will qualify leads or will segment your audience or will onboard clients or that will pre-qualify advertisers that want to work with you. All sorts of amazing things you can do with these custom tools. You can use no-code or low-code platforms to do this, but you do need, like I said, to have developed some knowledge of prompting or coding. You start to use APIs and integrations, which again, it's not something I'm going to get into. But this is the point then where you'll end up with the biggest wins in terms of time saving, getting consistent quality, and being able to scale. And especially if you're like me and you want to stay as a one-person business, maybe with a VA or something like that, this is the direction that you want to be heading in with your newsletter. If you stayed at level 3, that would be absolutely fine. But level 4 just takes you to a whole other playing field. And then like us, what we've done is we built the system that solved our own problem. And now we are in a position where we can sell it to you guys and help you save 10, 15, 20 hours a month writing your newsletter. And that's one of the bonus benefits, is that the workflows are designed around your outcomes and the problem that you have. That's what the custom AI tool or custom software solves. It's small. It's like a micro app or micro tool that solves a very specific problem. But you get hours and hours back and you become way more efficient. So now we have that understanding of where you could be heading. I want to go back up to sort of this level 1, where you're at sort of this simple prompting of AI tools, and this level 2 area where you're thinking about adding context memory and custom, building a custom AI like a gem or a custom GPT that will solve a particular problem for you. Okay, that's what I want to show you. I'm actually going to show you as well a tool. This isn't a tool that we built. It's a tool that you could use that's going to help you do a lot of this, especially when it comes to image creation. But I'll show you the free way, and then I'll show you this paid tool as well. The paid tool is very, very cheap. It's insane value for what you get. But that way, when you start off, you might want to experiment with the free tools, and when you're ready, you can move up to the paid tools to help you create your content. So just a reminder, we're going back to this idea now of how can we use AI as a beginner, very simply, in order to create content for my local newsletter, for social media, very quickly, so this doesn't become something that's going to take over my entire life and I'm going to hate. We're going to do some simple prompting. We're going to use some simple tools so you have an understanding of the options that you use. As I said, I'm down here with this. I'm down with the level 3, 4. But I want to show you what you should be doing when your competency is more at this sort of level 1, level 2 area. So let's get started. So I'm here on Facebook and I found this event that's coming up in Cookeville. We're going to try and create some content and we're going to send it over to the Cookeville, Tennessee newsletter and see if they want to use it on their social media. So this is an alumni weekend, coaches versus cancer for the basketball team. I picked this one because it looks like quite a big event. I feel like it's something that they would market, even if they don't directly write about it in the newsletter. And as it's on Facebook, we've got all the details, and we might be able to find some additional details on the basketball website if we need them. So this is what we are going to start with. We've got a link as well that we can include. So the first thing I want to do with this is I want to see if we can create an image to go with this. So the first thing I've done is I've just done a quick right click and save on the logo so that we have the colors and we have a little bit of information to help the AI. So if you see here, we've got the host of the events is the Tennessee Tech, so the athletics department. So I've got this logo here in order to be able to help me with the colors and so on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over into Google Gemini, because Google Gemini has Nano Banana, and that's going to help us create the images. This is Google Gemini. I'm in a free account because, like I said, I wanted to show you the free way to do this. When you first sign in, you might see Pro here. That's because you get a few Pro credits before you have to go on to their cheaper plans. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to click this button here, which is going to use Nano Banana in order to create an image for us. And then once we've done that, we can do our prompting. Now, we're going to stick with level 1, which is giving it a very, very simple prompt and seeing what it can create for us. But we're going to give it that logo to use that as a reference in order to help us out with the design a little bit. So let's go ahead and attach the logo. So all I've done is click this button here, hit upload files, and now the file is attached. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to create the social media content. So to save you a couple of minutes of having to watch me grab the information, I've just gone back and forth between the event page and Google. And this is what I've got. I want to create a social media graphic to create a post to promote the alumni weekend and Coaches for Cancer, which is a halftime event. I figured that out from reading the content on the Facebook page. The event, and then I've said where it's all happening. Event includes the women's basketball team playing at 1 and the men's playing at 3 and a special halftime show. I wanted to use the logo attached because I want that on the graphic. It's going to capture attention. And I wanted to use the colors in this as part of the design. Now I can add on some extra stuff as well. So for example, you might want to include some basketball players. You might want it more cartoon feeling. You might want it like an HD photograph. However you want it to be, you might have some ideas on size and ratio. I'm not going to put any of these in right now because we're just looking, like I said, at that level 1 competency. And then all you have to do is hit this button here or hit enter, and it's going to have a go at creating that content for you. Now, if you want to make your prompts better, there are some things that you can do. So while Nano Banana's having a think, I want to show you another tool. So this tool here is called Galaxy AI. It's got 5,465 tools in it, and you can build your own, which means when you get down to that level 2 AI competency and you start to want to build your own custom GPTs or Google Gems, you could start to do that in this tool. I'm going to click on this tool that they have, the AI image generator. They have some insane lifetime deals, and you get a huge number of credits on this for a very, very small monthly fee. So you can see when my membership resets, I'm going to get 15 million monthly credits on the 2nd of Feb. I've still got 800,000 left. And also, if you sign in daily and hit the free credits button, you get additional free credits every day as well. But what this does is I can put the same prompt in that I just put into Google Gemini, and then I can click this button here, which is Improve Prompt. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the prompt I gave it even better, which in theory will give me a better output. They also have a prompt library, which gives you examples. So if you're at that level 1 and you really want to get through to level 2 quickly, then you can use their prompt library, which is really powerful stuff. So while this is giving me some improved prompts, it's going to give me 4 options to pick from. Let's go back to Google. So it's still thinking, still going, but this is what it's produced for me. Okay. Kind of crazy how quickly that's happened. Now, if I had told it, then it would have put in the opponents, which is Little Rock in this case. So I can go back in and try and tell it to change the opponent to Little Rock. But how good is that as a first pass with a simple prompt? Now you should notice here we've got a watermark. When you're doing anything in Google Gemini, it will come with a Google Gemini watermark. Can you take it off and hide it? Yes, there's ways to do it. But what the best thing to do is to probably just pay for a tool where you get Nano Banana in it, and then you don't have to worry about taking off the watermark. But I can now save this, and what I would do is I would download this, and then I would probably just cover up that watermark with the logo of the newsletter. So if we go back into the local newsletter for Cookeville Buzz, this is the Cookeville Buzz logo. So all I need to do is download that, pop it on top in the corner so it looks branded, and that's covered up, and I can now use this. If I go back into Galaxy AI, and I'll leave a link down to Galaxy in the description, this is my original prompt, and now it's made 4 separate prompts for me, really detailed. So the first one's a dynamic sports action, social graphic, high energy, collage style. Then the next one, we've got a clean, modern, minimalistic social media graphic. We've got a cinematic halftime poster. And then for the last option, it's given me a retro collegiate letterpress design. So you would read through this and pick whichever one you want. I'm going to spend a ton of time. I quite like cinematic halftime event poster, but normally I'd read through the rest. Click on the one you like. It's now in this box. I can still change everything I want to. That's completely possible. Then what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down. The other great thing about this is as you start to get into AI competency, you'll start to realize that you like different tools for different things. But in Galaxy, you can use all the different models. So these are all the different AI image models. You can get access to all the different ones for writing and videos, and you can pick the best ones for you. So this is another great thing that you can do within this tool that you can't do if you're just using one tool like Google Gemini. You can only get Nano Banana, which is great, as you can see. It is amazing. But you can get everything, which means you can test them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the same logo up again. So there it is attached so that the prompt can use that however it wants. Normally I'd go back in and say, reference the image, but we'll just see what happens. Ratio, again, Google Gemini is a little bit difficult to get the ratio that you want. Sometimes it doesn't do quite what you want it to do. There are some workarounds. I'm not going to get into them today. We can change the number of images. So let's go for 2 variations. And then I hit generate and it's going to go ahead and it's going to take some of my credits. So 0.06 on my credits. So you can see that's gone down slightly. And it's going to create those images for me. So let's go back in here. It was Little Rock that they are playing. Let's see if it can change it. Don't know. We'll see. So change opponent to Little Rock on the graphic. That's all I need. It's going to be an image one again. The other thing about using Google Gemini like this as well is that you only get so many uses and then it's going to stop you from creating images for a while. Whereas if you're using a tool like this, you've got your credits and you know how to use them. So here we go. It's got the logo, completely different style, but still very, very cool. So there we go. We could just download that. It's going to go onto my computer. And now I've got that to be able to share with the newsletter business as well. You can use this in your own newsletter business. And then this one doesn't come with a watermark. What you can do from this point is if there's something you don't like, you can edit this image. And we can also go ahead and turn it into a video from within Galaxy AI. If I wanted to turn something into a video with Google Gemini, then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to move this into a separate tool. But now we've got Little Rock. So this is now something that I can use. And what I can do from this point is I can go ahead and I can create some copy to go with it. So because this chat in Gemini has got all the information, I'll get rid of the image and I'll say, write me some copy in a friendly and exciting tone as if from Cookeville, Tennessee to promote this event. Now, because I'm doing this all in the chat, it's got all the event information above. Keep it under 3 sentences. Give me 5 hashtags. And use emojis. So that's going to go ahead and write the copy for me. In Galaxy, what I would have is I would train myself up a little custom GPT tool, and I could take the exact same information I gave the first prompt, which is the information we gave right at the very top of this chat up here. And I would do exactly the same thing. I'd say, write me a post. But because I've trained the custom GPT, then the fact that I want in a friendly, exciting tone, I don't have to write that. the fact that I want it under 3 sentences, that I want 5 hashtags, that I want to use emojis. All of that is running into my master prompt of the custom GPT, meaning I don't have to write that every time. I just write me a post for this event, give it the information, and it will spin it into a post for me. It'll take a little bit of time to write the copy, so I write the instructions the first time, but after that, I save myself hours and hours. And that's just for writing social media copy. Think of all the other little tasks you have on a daily basis to run your local business or run your local newsletter that you could build into these little tools that will then solve problems for you. As you start to move into that level 3 and that level 4, you get to a point where you start to build your own tools like Flux Local that solve the problem for you, because this will solve multiple problems for me in one time. It'd be like taking 5 or 6 or 7 gems or custom GPTs and putting them all into one solution. That's what happens when you get further into this. Okay. So for some reason, Google Gemini is getting stuck. Always when you're trying to do these kind of trainings live, this kind of thing happens. So what I've done is I've gone into ChatGPT and I've given it the same instructions so you can see just another example of a tool creating this stuff. So I've said, write this kind of social media post, and I've literally just taken the information, including the typo, from here. Based on the event in this writing, and that was the first post that I put into Google right at the beginning up here when I was describing the event, and this is what it's come back for. Okay, so Cookeville friends, let's pack the center with a special coaches versus cancer halftime show. Popped in some emojis. Then, because I said it wanted to write like somebody from the area, it knows that the students are called the texters, and then they know that basketball language is tip-off, is at 1 o'clock. And then Golden Eagles, which is the team for the males, again, it knows that, is at 3 p.m. I didn't have to learn any of that. The AI just knows. Energy is going to be unreal. Come rep our colours, cheer loud, and support for an amazing cause. And then as I asked it to, it's given me the hashtags as well. So I can cut and paste that onto social media. I can then say, give me a second version to post the day before the event, because I created 2 graphics. I created a graphic here, and I've created a graphic in here, and I want to use both of them because I have tried to make them, so I might as well put both of them on social media. So as ChatGPT is working, it's taking exactly the same thing. It spun it for me. I've got something completely different that I could post the day before with all the same information. And I haven't had to write any of that myself. And now I can put all of that onto social media, and I can grow my social media account. Now, I'm not going to go into video and stuff in this video because it's going to end up being a much longer video than it already is. If you would like me to do some training on that to show you, then just go down into the comments and put the word video. If I get enough interest, I will do that. But you also have our community. You got any questions, you want any additional training, that's a really good place for you to go and to get some more support. And if you get a second and you want to check out Flux Local, again, I'd appreciate the support with you guys signing up to it, having a go, use the free account, let me know what you think. It'll be down in the description as well. If you have any questions, that's what the comments are for. I'll see you in the next video.